Portobello Brewery, Tropical Crush.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. The sun is over the yard arm and it means it's time for a beer. And a beer from London, no less. And this is from the Portobello Brewery, based in West London. Not too far from where I work actually. They're based near Ladbroke Grove. And they've been going since 2012. They do a few beers, not too many, and they don't, as it stands, I don't think they sell directly to the public from their brewery. They just have two pubs where they sell their beer. They've been going since 2012 though, and I'm sure I've tried some of their Portobello Pilsner, and it was available in a shop. No, it wasn't actually, it was in a pub actually on the Portobello Road, or not far from it. And I walked into the pub, full of fucking ponces, as you would expect from Portobello Road. And I ordered a pint of that Portobello Pilsner. It was a scorching hot day like this. And it was over a £5, I think it was. It was something fucking stupid. I drank up and fucked off. I'm not paying them sort of prices. There was a Sam Smith's pub round the corner. I went in there, got a decent pint for a reasonable price. That doesn't mean to say what the Portobello Brewery are doing. I do remember it, and it was quite a nice lager. It was okay, to be fair. It was cold and it was a hot day, and that's all I wanted. But I do remember it being expensive. But that part of London, West London, round there, it is the most, well, I wouldn't say it's the most expensive, but it's not far off. It's in the realms of Notting Hill Gate, Portobello Road. And that used to be a shithole years ago. That was a proper dump. Notting Hill Gate was a right old tip, from what I remember, back in the 80s. And had some money pumped into it. They got all them massive Georgian houses now. And now it's absolutely fucking astronomical, the prices of the houses. Do you know what I blame? I blame that film with that fucking Ponce, Hugh Grant. What's it called? Notting Hill. What a load of shit. But that's where I work. I work in West London. And when I'm at work, I'm based from home now, but that's my sort of manner when I go to work. And I've tried a few of the pubs around there, and you do get some half decent beers in there, but some of them, they just take the fucking piss with their prices. Really expensive. But Portobello Brewery, of course, are named after the market, Portobello Market. Now that's quite famous. If you've ever seen the film Bed Knobs and Broomsticks, I know. But if you watch it, Bruce Forsyth is in it. He's a fucking right youngie. That must be, when was that filmed? It must be the late 50s or early 60s. But they film Portobello Road. They do like a song in Portobello Road, and it's basically saying you can get anything there. And you used to be able to. It was an amazing place to go. I remember back in the 80s we used to go there. You could get records, loads of record shops down there and all that. And it was like, it reminds me of Petticoat Lane Market. You could get like loads of antiques, loads of people selling old tut and stuff like that, but you could get some half decent records and all that. Now it's like a shadow of its former self. You still get the odd fruit market and all that. I'll get onto that in a minute about the fruit market, but you get the odd fruit sellers and all that, but it's nothing like it was. I think the council put up the price of the pitches, and a lot of people sort of moved out from it, but in its day it was amazing. And there was a record shop round the corner in Notting Hill Gate called Record and Tape Exchange, and they had two of them based in Notting Hill. One was based in Camden, and it was as it said, Record and Tape Exchange, and you bring your records in, you could swap them for others and all that. The amount of good metal and punk that I got from that shop, it was basically my collection. I'd give all my vinyl away to a mate of mine, but if you you know, when I used to look at them, all the price tags was all from Record and Tape Exchange. I'm sure some of you must remember it out there. And they'd start off selling it for £5. Then if it didn't sell within a couple of weeks, it'd go down to £4, £3. The bargains you could pick up there was absolutely amazing. And one of the shops used to sell musical instruments as well. I always thought those overpriced, but it was probably all the yucky gear. It was like the run up to, you know, well, I call them crack converters, cash converters, where all the stolen shit from people's houses ends up. Anyway, I'm going to go into rant if I start about that, so I'm just going to fucking reverse out of that cul-de-sac and let's concentrate on this beer. Right, Tropical Crush. I did look up the website, couldn't get much info on it. A lot of their beer has got a brew sheet with it. This isn't even listed on their site, so I don't know whether they're brewing it anymore. But what I have found there is this beer is, yeah, it's got some hops in it, but it's also flavoured with the fruit from the market traders in Portobello Road. So the fruit stalls in Portobello Road Market, they've bought fruit from there and they're flavouring the beer with it. So it could be, oh, do you know what? And here it is. They've got the brew sheet on the bottle. Right. Have I got time? Have I got time? It's a fucking video. Yeah, I'll quickly go through what the hops are in this. Right, it's got Simcoe hops in here, and Simcoe are used quite a lot in pale ales and IPAs, etc. They're very good for bittering. They've got citrus flavour. They've also got passion fruit and pine, and of course passion fruit is one of the adjectives they use to describe this, so I'm assuming that's where that's coming from. The Southern Cross is again another bittering hop, high alpha acids, but it's also got some resinous pine in there as well, so that sounds interesting. Yeah, and a fruit IPA, I would expect them sort of hops in there. The malts, of course, are pale. Just that's your base malt. They've got a super pale in there, and they've got wheat as well. So wheat will give that a nice body as well. So all that remains is to get this open. Right, first one out of a bottle from the Portobello Brewery. As I said, I tried one of their Pilsners. Never again. And that was a shitty fucking pub and all, full of ponces. What was it called? Was it the Sun in the Sand or something? It was in West London. Oh, it was an absolute fucking shit show. I walked in there. Of course, it was like, everyone turned around and looked at you. And it was like, fuck are you lot, all sitting down eating their meals. Like, fuck off. Plain silver cap on that. Right, let's get it into the glass. Oh no, let's see what's on the nose first. Oh, blimey, there's some pine on that. Yeah, and some fruit too. Lots of passion fruit. Yeah, this could be another fucking Goose Island. There it is, slightly hazy. Very, very carbonated. And there goes the head. Gone. Flat as a witch's tit. This is 4.4%. And that head has gone completely. Look at that. This is not looking like a good one. Right. That really doesn't look good. I'm hoping I'm going to be proved wrong here. Let's give it a go. That is bollocks. Absolute fucking nonsense. This is the sort of thing I would expect from Aldi in their doing their own brand of stuff. Mango and passion fruit IPA. Tropical Crush. Tropical Crush is made with whole fruits sourced from traders at a Portobello market. Right. Flavours. Flavours are just fucking... There is mango there, I'll give you that. And passion fruit. There's a little bit. But you'd think if they're using that and them hops, it would be full of flavour. It's not. That is just so bland and boring. This is the sort of shit I'd expect from, as I said, Aldi's own brand. But I could see that with the head, the way the head dissipated so quickly. It's always a bad sign when you've got super fizz to start off with and then it just dies completely. Some people might like that, but you're a craft brewer, for Christ's sake. Do you know what? That just tastes like someone's homebrew. Tastes like someone experimenting at home with homebrew. And it's really disappointing because there are sort of, you know, I'm not from West London. It's not my manor, but I work there. And I've worked there for over, well, yeah, almost 20, well, no, over 20 years. So I've got a bit of a sort of a link to it. I know it quite well. And, you know, I'd always want to help out some local breweries, but for fuck's sake, this is just... I mean, look at it, that looks like a cider. There's no head whatsoever. No. No, fuck off. I'm not having it. This is... I know I shouldn't bash craft brewers because I like what they do because they're independent and they're doing it on a small scale. But for fuck's sake, you got to do better than that, lads. Come on. Really? Do you think that's acceptable? I'm not a brewer. I'm just a punter and I just review beers. I pay my money and I take my chances. If I was in a brewery and I was doing a tasting and I tasted this, I say this isn't fit to go out. It's just fucking bland. For starters, look at it in the glass. That's not acceptable. It doesn't look good. If a beer doesn't look good, usually it doesn't fucking taste good. There's fruity flavours there. There is. I'm not denying it. They're very bland, very boring. There is nothing. There's no character. There's nothing to make me want to buy this ever again. And I just think, you know, I hear all the sob stories from these craft brewers now. Oh, you know, I don't know if you know, but they've put up, I think is it 5,000 hectolitres? If you produce under 5,000 hectolitres, you get tax relief. And all the bigger breweries were getting the ump saying, well, how the fuck are they getting away with it? And some big brewers as well, like, you know, Shepherd Neame, Adnams, Timothy Taylor's as well. There's three that immediately spring to mind. They were saying, well, no, fuck it, we're gonna complain about that and lobby the government. And they have. They just imposed, well, they're trying to impose a new tax or stop the tax relief for craft brewers that brew under 5,000 hectolitres. And I'm hearing all the sob stories now, and I can't say I haven't got any sympathy. I do. I genuinely have. But when I drink beers like this, I just think, well, you're not the fucking golden goose. You know, you haven't got some divine right just because you're brewing craft beer. You know, and I see the price they're selling it for, and there's stuff like this, and I just think, you got to do better, lads. Come on, for fuck's sake. If you filled that out, if you tested it in a brewery and filled it out and it looked like that, and you tasted it, I wouldn't send that out. I'd be fucking embarrassed. That's poor, man. It's fucking poor. There's nothing in that would want to make me buy this ever again. If I bought even a half pint of it, I'd have one, and that was no. I'm not buying it again. That's probably why it's not on their website. It's probably why it's not selling. You know, people ain't stupid. Don't take the fucking piss. So what's the verdict? Nah. It just no. Just don't take the piss. You know, you can make it sound as exotic as you want, and you can have a flash little label. You can talk a big fight on your brew sheet, and you know, and then you come out with something like that. I don't know what to make of it. You know, I saw when I filled it out what it was going to be like. I could almost see that it wasn't going to be a good one. And I do wonder about your quality control. If you're letting stuff like this go out, you're not going to stay in business, regardless of this, you know, tax relief that's being taken off you. There's a lot of craft brewers doing stuff like this. Don't get me wrong, there's some great ones out there. I'm not knocking old craft brewers. But in London especially, there seems to be craft brewers brewing up. Anybody thinks they can do it. They're pumping out shit like this, and they're just wondering why it's not selling. And then, you know, they get into difficulty. Come on, you got to brew some decent fucking stuff. It's not rocket science. I'm going to give this a 1 out of 10. I'm not going to recommend it because, for the simple reason, there's nothing to recommend about it. It's got nothing going for it. It's got mediocre flavours at best, and I'm being generous. It's got nothing going for it. It's just fucking, oh. It's like somebody's homebrew. It's, you know, if somebody was brewing this out in the back of their shed in a garden, and I drank that, and I'd say, that's all right for fuck all. You know, you're drinking that for free. This would be the sort of stuff you drink when the pubs are shut. You come back and, you know, you've had a few already, and you say, oh, do you want to get on the homebrew or something like that? And you drink this, and you'd think it's passable, but I wouldn't recommend it. Oh, the aftertaste. No, it's getting worse as it's warming up. No, fuck off. 1 out of 10, not recommended. And remember, I'm drinking this shit, so you don't have to.